I'm live. Halloween. Horror, that time of year when we do the 31 days of horror, which for some of us is a daunting task, and for other people, it's just like every other month. We just now have a more open time to celebrate it. And after a while of watching what I call the sweet spot horror movies, the hour and a half to 88-minute horror movies, and diving into some that are, significantly shorter with some of the Universal, the older stuff, and getting through some of the cartoon aspects of it. It's nice to get those sweet little slivers of nightmare that is TV horror. So tonight, I thought we'd start off talking about my great love for the horror that came out at me when I was a kid, right out of the old cathode ray thing. So I got my bubbly here, and cheers to all who's here now or watching this in the future. I think about that sometimes, right? Like, there's people that may see this 2 or 3 years down the road. I've had comments from like 5 or 6 years ago. I made on videos like a week or two ago. So we're talking about TV horror, and it kind of makes sense because this is Halloween. We're almost there. We're pretty much on the cusp of October 31st. It's All Hallows Eve. It is the day before the great Halloween, and I wanted to talk about like different TV horror stuff that left a mark on me, and just some different cool stuff. So what I got here tonight is, like I always do, I've always got a little bevy, a little list of things to show you guys. Some different horror that I got specifically in the TV genre. So if you have any like shows that you watch, like creepy stuff, and I mean, aside from like, obviously everybody watches like the American Horror Story, the Channel Zero, especially with the announcement that Channel Zero is now going to be their show is going to be exclusive. Hey Tommy, how's it going? You are the first comment here tonight, and thank you so much for coming in. We're talking TV horror tonight. I'm going to show you like a few different boxes that I got because I love obviously my physical media. Recent news, I guess I'll put this out. There's that Filmstruck, which is a streaming service that does like Criterion and kind of like TCM stuff. They're going under, so there will be no more. So no, I didn't actually. I was going to go see it. I had planned to go see it tonight, and then my theater, my drive-in theater, announced that they would be showing it on this Saturday. So I'm going to see Halloween after Halloween, but the chance to see the new Halloween at a drive-in theater was too strong to pass up. No, so my better half had to work. They had to do a seminar today. I had to leave very early. I thought, okay, so we'll go on the weekend. We'll go Saturday. I got Saturday off. We'll go see Halloween 2018 at the drive-in. And it does seem like the kind of movie that I would watch at a drive-in. So, Ken, who's often on here, actually just finished watching The Ghosts of Sierra de Cobre. This one right here. Speaking of TV horror. And just gave it rave reviews. So, and I was actually very interested in that one. You haven't seen it either? Yeah, I want to see it, and I'm going to see it, just want to see it at the drive-in, seems like. I don't think so. I think that this, it's going the way of where it's going. They probably would have been better off Cubic Club if they would have left it on Hulu and let the Criterion channel go like that. But they didn't do that. Maybe something can be worked out. Yeah, I don't know. Hulu, I think, is owned by Disney now, right? But it just goes to show you that when it comes to the collector mentality of what's going on right now, when it comes to movies and collecting, that physical media is still paramount among most collectors. The way they said it was that they just said, well, our our films are like as a streaming service, as a niche service. Uh, it's kind of the way. Think of it this way: when you go to like a mainstream, like when you used to go to like mainstream, like a Blockbuster and stuff, sort of that, like just a Blockbuster, like a small Blockbuster, and you just have like just the new stuff coming out. Basically, wouldn't have a lot of the also be like a little bit, like a row or something of the old stuff, but still it would be kind of watered down and all that type of stuff. So think of like Netflix and channels like that, kind of like that. New stuff, cheap stuff, that's going there. If you want the really good stuff, the collector stuff, you want to get the good stuff, the shiny stuff, you want the Criterions, you want the Screen Factors, the Arrows, all that type of stuff, then still physical media is the best and the only way to go for that type of thing. It's a shame that you couldn't use the streaming service to offset costs for like restorations and getting more films out there. That's what Vinegar Cinema originally did. Unfortunately, the people are finding that that's not really taking off. So streaming is going to be something that I think is going to replace television more so than it's going to replace like film collecting in the anytime in the near future. That's my thoughts. So TV horror. I love TV horror. So I got a few different sets to show you guys. Some stuff that really stuck with me, some stuff that I just wanted to talk about. And if you guys have any shows, because this is going to be like TV shows, not TV movies, that I just wanted to show here. So the first one is from Roald Dahl, and that name should give away what this series is. It was a very kind of like inexpensive series, done in England. Amazing cast, and as a kid, I don't think I even realized like how many incredible like actors that I was being introduced to or reintroduced to if I'd seen them and stuff before. But Acorn Media put this out. I only got the first 2 seasons of this. I really wish I had the rest of it. And that is the Incredible Tales of the Unexpected. And if you've ever seen this, then you'll know the Dance of the Dead Marionettes theme song that plays at the beginning of it. Extremely creepy. It's got this really creepy opening. A wise man believes only in lies. Do they have it on here? I wish they did. Now there are 2 openings apparently for this show. Now the one that I saw here in North America and Canada was the one that starts with the Dance to the Dead Marionettes and the voiceover at the beginning. So I think that's what this one has here. And there are some really good episodes on here. I'm trying to remember which one, the ones that stood out to me at the time. I know that there's the Royal Jelly was pretty good, and Lamb to the Slaughter. Of course, Lamb to the Slaughter is big for me, not just because I loved it as the Tales of the Unexpected episode. If you've never seen Lamb to the Slaughter, check it out. Basically, it's about this woman that has this overbearingly bullish, horrible husband, and she's meek, she's mild, but one day she can't take it anymore. This is at the opening, so it isn't really giving anything away. And she kills him. She kills him with this leg of lamb. Then it gets good. Now, what's really important about this one for me specifically is when I was in acting, when I was younger, one of the things that I did was I directed a stage performance of Lamb to Slaughter. Actually, I directed a stage performance of 2 separate episodes of Tales of the Unexpected. Because if you've ever seen the show, you'll know that it's very much like a drawing room one. Exploitation TV, I liked it for what it was in its time. Now it's gone now. Kubrick lover. It lasted for a short period of time, longer than I expected it to last. I supported it. Like I had it for the first like 5 or 6 months to support restorations. I didn't really watch it a lot. I watched a few things on it, but usually the stuff that I watched on was stuff that I would like end up buying from Vinegar Syndrome anyway. But Exploitation TV isn't around anymore. But they tried it to actually help do their do the restorations. I hope that would get their name out there a bit more. But Vinegar Syndrome just managed to, I think, get that right. Hit at the right time and get the right people, and now they've gone a long way. They've definitely become bigger with the stuff that they do, and some of the more recent announcements are actually kind of cool and exciting. So Exploitation TV was a good idea, but it was something that I think even back then I knew wasn't going to last for a long period of time. And Vinegar Syndrome do amazing stuff. I'm sad to say that I still haven't got my Vinegar Syndrome package, the October package yet. A lot of people have gotten it. Now, that being said, this may not be Vinegar Syndrome's fault. I live in Canada, and right now we have a rolling postal strike that is ongoing, which means that the postal service cannot be on strike because it's considered a necessity. So what they will do is one province every so often will take an hour to an hour or so, and they will strike. But the next day, they're back to, next day, next hour, next 3 hours, however they do it, they're back to work, and then, another province would take 2 or 3 hours, and they will strike. So it's the most Canadian convenient way of striking that you can imagine. But is anybody here a fan of Tales of the Unexpected? Because you guys are really quiet tonight. I'm not gonna lie. Tommy, Kubrick, you guys are extremely quiet. And actually, Kubrick lover, I kind of expected you to be a fan of this show because it does kind of remind me of the type of if there's gonna be any of these type of shows that you would watch. It kind of seems like the type that you would. Now, the cast in this have some incredible people. We got Joseph Cotton, Jose Ferrer, Michael Gambon, Susan George, John Gielgud, Julie Harris, Derek Jacobi, John Mills. Just an incredible cast of actors that acted in that series. Next up is one that I don't remember very well, so I'm kind of hoping. I bought this one, and for the life of me, I don't know if I've ever seen it. And I haven't watched it since I got it. So maybe you guys can tell me if this is a good show. Because I would really like your feedback, and I would like some comments. You guys are so quiet tonight. It's very surprising. I'm guessing it's not most of the regulars in here to be this quiet. But it is Ghost Stories. Now, cool cover, definitely. But I don't remember the show. Now, it says that it played on the Fox Family Channel. Oh, now this one I know. After Hitchcock Presents, we'll get to that one. I do know. But this one here, I don't remember this one. Oh, we're talking about right now. It can go anywhere, Ms. Kalinsky. But tonight we're talking right now about television horror, specifically about TV shows that are horror oriented. I just mentioned Tales of the Unexpected, which surprisingly not a lot of people either didn't know a lot about, or they just weren't that interested in that show, which kind of surprised me. It was one of the shows that really got me into reading short stories and got me into anthology horror. But apparently not for a lot of people. But for me, Tales of the Unexpected was an amazing show, and it really got me to know a lot of Roald Dahl's work a bit more than I had previously. Hey Savannah, how's it going? I watched the video where I went to the part where you won the Steelbook. Congratulations again, by the way. So I'm now subscribed to Big Paulie's channel. Let him know. So, anybody see this one? Anybody? I feel like I'm auctioning. But yeah, no, this Fox Family Channel, I really don't know the show. But I thought maybe Savannah might know it because it is younger. So 44 spine-tingling episodes. Oh, really? Lamb was on Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Actually, Lamb to the Slaughter may have been on Alfred Hitchcock Presents as well. But the version that I know it from is from Tales of the Unexpected. Never heard of it? It's like a Fox Family Channel. I don't watch a lot of Fox, so I don't really know. Yeah, I bought it very inexpensively. I think it was probably one of those Walmart bins or something like that. So not quite sure how good it is. But yeah, Lamb to the Slaughter was one that I liked. There was another one that I did, and I both, on stage I directed in that one, was and it was a Tales of the Unexpected one. And basically, there's this guy, and I can't remember the name of it, so I'm going to kind of describe it. You guys let me know if you know what it is. So there's this guy who's had a nervous breakdown, and an extremely bad nervous breakdown. So what his doctor tells him, basically, he's living out in the countryside. It's kind of quiet. It's nice there. Oh yeah, actually, I really like those figurines. Actually, you mean the twins? That was so cool. I looked at that today, but Oh, anyway, so basically he goes around, he's basically going around door to door, and he's kind of introducing himself, getting to know the neighborhood. So he goes to meet this here, to this one house, and he sits down, he has a cup of tea, as they do in the English countryside, and he talks to this girl, and she's kind of quiet and pale and slightly reserved, and she starts to tell a story of her father and her brother and the Moors, and how they went out hunting one day, and how they eventually, like, she really makes him nervous, and she seems to like revel in the fact that she's making him uncomfortable with the story, basically telling them that her father and her brother died in a hunting accident out on the moors, and you can still see them sometimes. And near the end of the story, we see the father and the brother coming to this big glass door, if I remember correctly, and he boots it like nervous breakdown. He's gone, never to find out that she was just playing with him, and she was kind of messed up. And this is a story that she tells the people when they come to her house. So interesting one, anyway. So the thing that got this really started was somebody asked on one of the Facebook pages that I'm on about this show. And this show is incredible. And I think the time to talk about this show is right now. And the reason for that is because of the Greg Nicotero announcement that was recently made. If you're a fan of Shudder, if you're a fan of Greg Nicotero, then you probably know that, of course, Nicotero's from KNBFX and The Walking Dead series. But you probably know that he's doing a Creepshow TV series that's been greenlit, and it's on its way to Shudder. Really looking forward to that. What some people don't know is that this won't be the first time we've gotten a Creepshow series televised on TV. And a lot of you have seen it. But at the time, it couldn't be called Creepshow. Now, it had most of the people. Oh, day shift, had to go back. That'll be fun. You can watch them in like repeats, but you will be missed here on the live one. That's for sure. You're always missed when you're not here, Savannah. Because it's really cool that he has managed to. I hope that he reaches out the olive branch to Savani, because one of the things that Savani was very disappointed about was that Nicotero and Berger went on and they did stuff that like The Walking Dead, and they never reached out to him. You would think that reaching out to Savani for doing something on The Walking Dead would be a given, but unless something's happened that I don't know about, they still haven't done that, and that's a shame, because K&B worked under him at one point. And despite like the stuff that I hear, when I did get to meet Tom Savani, he was an extremely nice guy and really talkative and polite. So that was really strange to see that they haven't done that yet. But hopefully during Creepshow, you got to reach out to Savani. So there already was a Creepshow though. There was the 2 films, and there was that 3rd film that doesn't exist. But there was also a TV show. The makers of Creepshow made a television series. Unfortunately, they couldn't call it Creepshow, so it had to go by another name. Now, this series also got its own movie as well, which is considered by many to be the unofficial 3rd Creepshow film. And the unofficial 3rd Creepshow film, the real Creepshow film, isn't Creepshow 3, made by some company that had nothing to do with Creepshow and just managed to buy out the rights of the name, same the way they did with Dawn of the Day of the Dead, those bottom-feeding sons of... Anyway, but the original Creepshow 3, the real Creepshow 3, is called Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. So if you're watching Creepshow 1 and 2, watch Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, and you'll get the 3rd Creepshow. Watch this, and you'll get the original Creepshow TV series, Tales from the Dark Side, the complete series. Now, no, actually, I'm going on Saturday because it's playing at my drive-in this weekend. I was going to go see it tonight, and I wouldn't be on here right now if I was going to see it tonight, but my drive-in theater is playing a double feature of, it's not a double feature, but it's actually 2 good films. Halloween 2018 and A Star is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. So I can cry and get freaked out all at the same time. So if you've never seen this show, please, I really do recommend it. It's a great show. You got Ramiro on this, you got Savani doing this. And what's really cool, see this creature here? This is from an episode called Lucy. You haven't watched yet? It's actually really good. A lot of people love the George Romero first episode, and it's fun. I don't think it's like super creepy. You used to watch Tales from the Dark Side, so that one you did watch. But I do think that there's some really good ones in there. Like every anthology series, some are hits and some are misses, but this show can get extremely dark. Now, if this is the series I'm thinking of, this is the one that has a show. There's an episode called The Girl. Yeah, he was actually. He played a sex machine. Yo, you right, it's going. I want to see if it's on here because there's one show on here, one episode that I kind of want to talk about. There's a few actually that are in our standard. So Trick or Treat was the first episode that was directed by George Romero. The New Man is a good one. The Word Processor of the Gods, amazing. I don't have the Friday 13th complete series yet, Rich. I really need to get that one. I love the Word Processor of the Gods with Harry Anderson, late Harry Anderson. Djinn No Chaser is good, but there's one here that just I got to see if it's on here. And I know it's on here somewhere. It just freaks me out. It's the darkest episode of any TV show that I think that I've ever seen. And this might be it right here. I Can't Help Saying Goodbye. So I think that my eldest talked about this one once on here. But I Can't Help Saying Goodbye is probably one of the darkest episodes of TV that you're ever going to see. Basically, there's this little girl, and she can see when people are going to die. So every time she sees somebody, like, she waves bye to them. And shortly after she waves bye, then they pass on, they die. Now, obviously that's nothing that she can do anything about. It's kind of a curse to her. But it's her mom or sister really like is watching people around her like be waved at and never come back again, and is horrified at who's going to be waved at next. So by the end of the episode, she's plotting the demise of her own child, and the very ending basically has the little girl, waving into a mirror at herself, and you can see the reflection, and it shows her with like water coming up. It's a very very dark episode of a TV show, and it's very brave to do something like that, especially when you're talking about like the planned death of a child character in the series. It's not an easy watch. So anybody remember that episode? But that's Tales from the Dark Side. This is actually around Halloween time. You do tend to see this at Walmart a lot, and I do recommend, if you haven't got this series, it really is a quality show that deserves a watch. It has some great special effects, some really great writing, some really cool Stephen King adaptations in here as well, if you're a Stephen King fan. And some great stuff with Romero, Savani. One of Savani's great works is the Lucy character in this one here. And this is the back, so you can get a kind of grasp of the horrific aspect of it. Oh, they're showing Dead Zone? Nice. I love Dead Zone. I'm a huge Christopher Walken fan. You can make anything interesting. You need get a movie starring Chris Walken and Nick Cage. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a movie starring Chris Walken and Nick Cage together? Has there been one? Because if there has, I can't remember it. But that's just, and while you're at it, put Willem Dafoe in there too. Just, yeah, get those three guys to do a movie together. Freaking awesome. And can you imagine the acting? Can you imagine the chewing of the scenery? And if you can get Anthony Hopkins in there for a couple minutes too, man, that is epicness. That is epic. So next up is, of course, one of like most people's favorite anthology series, and that, of course, is Twilight Zone. Do you like the latest X-Files season? I'll be honest, I haven't really gotten in to the newer X-Files series. Christmas episode. Hey, nice. Hey, welcome, Bones. So that's been like You'll be surprised if I have Suspiria. You mean like the original Suspiria? Yeah, I have it. I don't have the Blu-ray yet. Uh, oh, but I do have like the original Blue Underground DVD of Suspiria right there. Uh, I'm a big fan of like Argento, so there's pretty much everything Argento comes out. I kind of grab. I do have to get the Suspiria Blu-ray though. So Synapse did the best version of that. I just don't have the there's a new one out yet. You've got the original Twilight Zone DVD box set. So I had like these here, what you call the essential ones, and then I have it. So this is the Taki Teen episode, of course, and this is the. You're a huge fan from the beginning. I missed the first part of that. Huge fan beginning from the Dead Zone, the TV series, from Twilight Zone. X-Files. Oh, okay, X-Files. Thank you. Oh, yeah, X-Files. I was a big fan when it came out. I actually remember. It's weird. I was going out to the bar. It was back in the day, and X-Files came out. It was the pilot episode, first one. Hey, happy Devil's Night in, ready? I should have worn like a mask or something like that. I was going to originally come on here with a mask and that on. I had like kind of a double mask idea, but which I'm going to use to work tomorrow. But I was a big fan. So I was going out and X-Files came on and I kind of like watched the opening of it, and I sat down and I waited and I watched the entirety of the X-Files series. The start of the X-Files episode, the pilot episode that night before I even went out. I had to go, dancing, clubbing afterwards. But the show stopped me and got me to sit down and like got my attention. And every week after that, basically, there would be a bunch of us and we'd sit down and watch X-Files together, usually in my apartment, and then we go out afterwards. So that was like, I'm a huge fan of the original show, but when the last one came on, I didn't get into it as much. Not this season here, but there's like a new season before this one. So I haven't really sat down and watched yet. What I want to do is eventually like buy the new seasons and be able to kind of binge them. That's how I find that for a lot of these shows that they work best for me. I've been binging the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I do recommend. That is actually a really good show. It's good at the beginning, but there's an episode named after a specific story called the movies were okay. I mean, the second movie I thought was better than the first one, to be totally honest with you. The first movie seemed to be too beholden to like what was going on in the TV series at the time. But there's an episode like around the fifth episode of Chilling Adventures of Sabrina called Dreams in a Witch House. And almost everybody that's a horror fan is going to get the reference to what that is. But it's a really, really good, really extremely dark episode, and it goes in some dark places, which I was really surprised to see. So this is not Riverdale, and it's not like as youth-oriented, I guess what you want to say. It is very much a horror series. And episode 5 is definitely very, very much an extremely horror-centric episode that stands well on its own. And apparently, according to my kiddies, it actually becomes like there's a portion of it that's going to become integral to the series, like going forward. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But the Dreams in a Witch House, episode 5 of Sabrina, stands on its own as a really good like hour of television. So yeah, I grew up with like this series, of course. So there's a young William Shatner there, and they put the gremlin on the. And now this one, what's really cool about this one here is that, and what I think is really neat is that Twilight Zone is one of those shows that has been reinvented a couple times. Scare tactics. It sounds familiar, and it sounds like I've seen something of it, but I don't remember it. Rich, I'll be honest with you, I don't remember it if I have seen it, or if I've just heard the name somewhere in like passing. Series release. Is it like an anthology series? Because Scare Tactics makes me think it's going to be like some kind of like one of those Dare type of like TV shows. But yeah, the one thing I can say, and this is me specifically, I think that although you can't beat the Twilight Zone, like the original series, horror prank show, that's kind of what I expect. I do think that both the 80s and the 2000s series of Twilight Zone each have their own place in a history as like good programming. and that's rare to see a show come back and be remade. But it really goes to show you the longevity and the lasting effect of like a series like Twilight Zone, that it can be reimagined over and over again, and in each reiteration can bring something new and something interesting to the table. So this actual edition here, aside from the original series, does include the 1980s series as well. And there are some really good episodes in the 80s series. But I think one of the neatest things that you get in this is you get a comic book. You get like a Twilight Zone comic book. So I'll take it out. There's one of 4. So when you buy this Twilight Zone set, you don't know which of the 4 comics you're going to get, because Twilight Zone's a comic book series from Gold Key, and this is the one I got. And it is the complete comic book, completely done. And one of the other cool things you get is you get like a guide to both shows. But if you've never seen this, so if you've never watched it, like a lot of people went out and they grabbed the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray edition of this, that's cute. Not cute, it's cool. But for me, as a collector, as a fan of Twilight Zone, there was only one. The other 3, like Twilight Zones? Or, because I'm missing something here, because I lost the worst thing about trying to get this stuff back in, comics. Oh, I know, I never did actually. That's kind of a neat idea. But I'd have to buy 3 box sets, or just to, I mean, like just going to eBay and see if like somebody's selling the comics on their own. It'd be really hard to do. This was a hard set to find. And it was the very first day that I got Amazon Prime, actually. And I do recommend Amazon Prime. That the very first thing that was on sale, they had a flash sale for the Twilight Zone, 5th Dimension, the complete original and 80s TV series, right? And I got the very last copy of that box set, and then the sale was gone, it was over, and it went up in price extremely, a large amount actually. Amazing Stories and newer version of Alfred Hitchcock Presents. I remember that as well. I don't have the newer version of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, but we'll get into some of that other stuff as well. Now, since I showed the other ones, the hardest find was this one out of all 3 of them. Actually, so the newer Twilight Zone series is actually out of print now. So if you find this one at like a secondhand shop or something like that, definitely grab it up. It's it hasn't always been an easy find, and some people like put it out on crazy prices, which is insane. There's a great cast in this one here. Now, Forrest Whitaker does the hosting for the new series, and I think he did a good job. He did it in his own way, made his own. He didn't try to copy Rod Serling, and I enjoy that. Some people kind of wanted to have like a Rod Serling copy for the newer Twilight Zone. I think they went in the right direction. And cast members on this, Jason Alexander, Jason Bateman, Elizabeth Berkley, Rory Culkin, Jonathan Jackson, Cloris Leachman, Paul Rodriguez, Lou Diamond Phillips, Amber Tamlin, Christopher Titus, Dylan Walsh, just an insane amount of people. And really good, actually. I gotta say, this stood the test of time way better than I thought. How many seasons for Twilight Zone? The original series had 5 seasons. One of the seasons is actually an hour-long season. He tried to go into an hour-long format for Twilight Zone in the 4th season. Now, it was a big mistake. Now, Rod Serling really considered it like extremely bad. Now, I do think that there were some gems in the 4th season of Twilight Zone when they went to an hour, but Rod Serling really felt that it was really stretching what he had to do. But the 5th and final season of Twilight Zone actually went back to the half-hour format. The second Twilight Zone series, 80s one, I think, went 2 or 3 seasons, I don't remember, and this one only went like 1 season altogether, with like, I think 22, how many episodes is this? 43? Okay, it must be 40. When you say 43 episodes, you mean like some of these have like 2 episodes per episode. Yeah, it was not the best season, but it did have some like really good like episodes on there. Remember some from TV in the 80s? Twilight Zone is one of those shows that you can put on at any time and watch. It is kind of timeless, especially the original series. There's some great episodes. Monster, Maple Street, in Eye of the Beholder, the Telly Savalas one with the talking doll. Just really creepy stuff, man. So, going in the Rod Serling vein, still, I thought we'd talk about his other series that really, and I only have the second season. I'm actually very sad. I got to get the complete series, this one. That is Night Gallery. Now, whereas I wasn't alive when Twilight Zone, the original series, came on the air, and so I would see it in reruns, I think I was pretty young, but I would have been around when Night Gallery was on the air. And this was the follow-up series to Twilight Zone that Rod Serling did. And basically, the basic premise is that there'd be like a picture shown at the beginning, and then the picture would go into like, then he would talk. I'm going to like the episode. What was different about this is they would have like shorts in between. Sometimes something would be comedic shorts, just like really funny stuff. It was different. It was a different type of show. Now, that being said, there were still some really, really great quality episodes on this one as well. The Caterpillar is probably one of the most infamously remembered episodes, and that's where the goes to kill goes to kill his wife, so he gets this earwig, and it goes in his ear, and like pretty much is like eating his way across going across his brain, driving him insane, and he's just wants, if it can get to the other side, if you can survive it, getting to the other side, if you can make it, it's, you'll do the impossible. He'll live. He'll survive. But if it doesn't get to the other side, then he's doomed. The ending is morbidly fantastic, and so if you haven't checked it out, do so. But yeah, this is actually, I gotta rewatch some of these. The Boy Predicted Earthquakes, I kind of remember as well. Now, there was one episode called, and it wasn't like and because Rod Serling didn't just do the creepy stuff, he also did like the, kind of like the tug at your heart type stuff. They're tearing down Tim Dooley's bar, something like that it was called. I don't think it's on the set here, but it's a really, really good episode, and it really tugs at the heartstrings. So if you've never seen Night Gallery, I do recommend. It's a very different show. You're going to get all kinds of stuff like Twilight. Obviously, Twilight Zone wasn't always creepy. That did different type of stuff. Sounds like Wrath of Khan. Oh, it goes darker than that, actually. You'll trust me, you'll like it. Curious Club. If you've ever seen it, and if you don't plan on seeing it, Google it and find out what happens, because it's then you're going to want to see it. But yeah, Night Gallery, definitely a series that if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Staying along the anthology line first, I wanted to go with this one here, Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And this was mentioned here earlier. Was named the anthology series SCI. SCI as in, when did that? Night Child. Yeah, that's a good movie. It's a fun movie. If you like that director. What is SCI? Oh, sci-fi horror. You mean like Outer Limits? I remember like I don't have it, but the original Outer Limits series, which is being brought, second season now is coming from Kino on Blu-ray. If you don't have the original Outer Limits, it was done by, first season especially, was done by Joseph Stefano, famous for the script for Psycho back in the 60s, with the Talking Comet. Talking Comet? I don't know. I do know the Outer Limits. Do not adjust your set. We control the horizontal. We control the vertical. Does anybody know the Talking Comet one? If you do, shout it out here, because I'm actually kind of interested in seeing what that is. But this one here is one of my favorites. This is one of the ones that I remember watching when I was young. Monsters. I love Monsters. I don't know if they're talking Comet Monsters, but Monsters was fantastic. Monsters was a follow-up to Tales from the Dark Side, and it was my oldest has that one. She has that series, but it's incredible. It's an incredibly fun show. There's like some amazing monsters made in that show. Some great effects there. I remember one episode called Fever Man that had like the guy from NCIS in it, and of course, Man from Uncle too. But it was just incredible effects that were done in that show. But I'm guessing most people here have seen Alfred Hitchcock Presents, either this edition or, of course, the newer one that came out. But the one that stuck with me, and I do want to see if it's here, and I think it's pretty early on. Maybe it's in the second. I got the first 2 seasons of this series, but I don't have the rest. I'm actually kind of curious. If you ever find out, let me know. Like, if you don't find it on this video and you're in the next video, definitely let me know, because I'm kind of curious to know what that series is. There's a great episode on this show. There's a lot of great episodes, but there's one that stands out, and it stars Joseph Cotten. Now, in it, Joseph Cotten's a guy he's cold. He's a businessman. He's ruthless. He's heartless. He shows no emotion. And he's driving off, and he gets in a car accident. Now, what we see for the rest of the episode is basically Joseph Cotten on this slab. And the people that are going to do the autopsy on him, they think he's dead. Now, he can only move his little finger. That's it. That's all they can move. But his little finger is stuck, kind of like his hand is behind him. They don't see it. They can't see his finger. He's trying to move his finger to let them know, Ray Bradbury. I don't know if that had like a talking comment on it, but that is actually a really good show. I got to get that one too. So you can't see him move his finger. He's desperately trying to find a way to communicate with them. In his mind, he's screaming, but nothing is coming out of his mouth. And they're getting ready to open him up to get the formaldehyde into, like, to kind of to pump him. There's no coming back once that happens. And then the man with no emotion cries. There's a tear, and that's what gives it. Reminds me of Short Night of the Glass Dolls. Yeah, actually, that's a really good example of that. And Short Night of the Glass Dolls isn't that like coming out or was brought out by 88 Films? I think 88 Films brought out Short Night of the Glass Dolls. I do have like it here on like, but not like not a great edition of it, but I do have like an older edition of Short Night of the Glass Dolls. But yeah, that episode really, like, it shook me when I was young, and I always remembered it. I used to write like I would get like. Buy these like exercise books, these 32-page exercise books, the 4-packs you get when you're going to school. So where I'd write like short stories, like with like twist endings, and I had like around like 10 or 11 like 32-page exercise books filled with all these like short stories that I'd written over the years. English Bela Lugosi. See, Tribute Glover, we think alike there. English Bell, I like that actually. He's got that clipped, reserved, twisted. Nobody has black humor the way that Alfred Hitchcock has a just sense of like almost like a childlike joyfulness in the, like, he knows he's doing something naughty. He knows he's doing something wrong. But just the way that he plays it, it's well done. Do I have any more anthology series here? Nope. But we're going to get into some of the. Oh, I do actually, sort of. And that is this one right here. And this was mentioned here earlier. Friday the 13th. Now, I've only got the second season. It's the only one I've ever been able to find out in the wild. There's a complete series, but I do find it does tend to get a bit pricey. So I've been looking to see if I can find the shows. Now, the 4th season of the show, they recast the lead actor because he wanted to leave. And he wanted to get away from Friday the 13th by going on and acting in a Friday the 13th movie. I kid you not. This is... Oh yeah, it was a TV show. Friday the 13th, as it was called in most places, in certain aspects of like Canada, I think was... you got it for $30, Rich? I'm jealous, man. Was called Friday's Curse as well in some areas. But most people called it Friday the 13th because it was like kind of the... yeah, nothing to do with Jason. Now, they had intended at one point to maybe do an episode with the... I don't have the Scream series. I've seen it all. But I did enjoy it, and I really enjoyed Bella Thorne in the first episode of the Scream series. But okay, but yeah. So Friday the 13th was like an anthology series that was ongoing, and basically the premise of the show is that Louis Vendredi, get it? Owns an antique shop. I've seen Scream Queens as well. First season's good. Second season, man. He owns a shop and he dies. He made a deal with the devil, And all of these antiques that he sold to people have specific curses on them. So the shop is bought by is well it's they inherit it, and they don't know that the items are cursed. So they quickly have a real big sale and they sell off a lot of the antiques, not realizing that they're all cursed. So the rest of the series is them going back and in each episode getting a different cursed antique. They'd have like a lot of great directors working on the show, especially like Canadian directors like David Cronenberg, Adam O'Guyan worked on an episode of this series as well. Just some really, really great stuff. And if you've never seen it, you really do owe it to yourself to check it out because it's a really good show. And definitely on the Google Doc list is Roby right there. She is gorgeous. She's redhead. My first girlfriend when I was growing up, when I was a kid, little boy, was redhead as well. And I have a weakness. Yeah, so we got like Roby right there, and of course there you see Ryan, of course, who played in the Friday the 13th, Jason Goes Hell. Heavy Metal was a movie. Actually, there's a couple of them. Now, Heavy Metal was came around in around 1978, 1979. It started to basically showcase a lot of like fantasy, sci-fi type of stuff. Now, the book itself was a product of a French book named The Metal Hurlant. And it was just so different and weird and unique. And if you grew up like reading Heavy Metal magazine, you had an amazing childhood. Because I did grow up reading Heavy Metal magazine. That was like a huge part of my life. It got me to see like artists like Mobius and like to see the original like adaptation of Alien, like as drawn on it's hard. Boris Vallejo, Milo Manera. Just if you've never checked out Heavy Metal magazine, if you have a chance to see it, or if you're French and you're watching this and you've Metal Hurlant, you hate the movie Heavy Metal. It's good. I mean, like it's different. You have to understand that this was heady stuff. Now they did keep it pretty, mainstream for the film, but reading Heavy Metal magazine, especially during its banner years, the 70s, the 80s stuff, then even the 90s stuff. Well, it's not that the animation was the animation of its time, and the thing is that I do think that they did like a lot of like kind of cool experimental animation. Now, I would say that the animation in Heavy Metal 2 was crappier, but I did like the animation, the hand-drawn animation in Heavy Metal 1, and I did like the soundtrack. And the fact that they used a lot of Canadian used mostly all Canadian voice actors, and most of them, if you ever watch SCTV, then John Candy, people like that were in there, and it was really hard to like get some of these like some of these topics and some of these characters and storylines to get them like to translate them over onto like onto a big screen. Heavy Metal is something that I think in everybody's life, they should sit down and read a little bit of it. Metal Hurlant was an anime. No, neither was Heavy Metal actually. Heavy Metal was just a magazine first. It's just that they translated some of the more popular stories into two films. First, Heavy Metal, which was acclaimed for its soundtrack, and actually was acclaimed for its animation back in the day, and. Then, of course, there was Heavy Metal 2, which didn't do so well, and they relied a bit more on the Heavy Metal cover, like girl at the time, Julie Strain, who has unfortunately had some like problems health-wise in recent years, which is a shame because she's a beautiful lady and seemed like a very, very sweet and like kind of real natural girl. You ready for Heavy Metal? See, I somehow knew you would have read it. Heavy Metal was amazing back in the day when it was done. And you just go online, guys, and look at some of the covers and just some of the work that's been done there from like Julie Bell and from like Boris Vallejo. I used to collect comics, Hubert Glover. I was a big comic collector before I became a big movie collector, to be honest with you. I used to watch movies and I'd read about movies. I had a lot of like movie academic books. But I didn't like collect a lot of films. I had a VHS collection, and it seemed that every few years I'd be moving somewhere. I moved a lot when I was younger, in my 20s and that to my 30s. And every time I moved, there'd be certain parts of my collection that'll be lost that I'd have to sell off, and it got frustrating trying to actually be able to keep them. Now my comics I kept, and I had long boxes, the white long boxes back in the day of like a lot of different stuff. I like the indie stuff, but I like the mainstream stuff too. I wasn't like just an indie snob. I liked a lot of. I grew up with Spider-Man and Rom Space Knight, and I'll explain you why, like really quickly. And the fact is that Kubrick is that. I don't now. I used to have a big film book collection, but through moves and stuff like that, I'm actually starting to acquire. I actually picked up 2 Troy Haworth books for Christmas last year. Oh, Metal Hurling. Oh yeah, you mean the series? I totally forgot that there was a series. Okay. Oh yes, I think you're right. So that would be Metal Hurling then. I have not seen the French series. I know that it had like 10 or 12 episodes, something like that. But yeah, that's where heavy metal came from. Yeah, although we have a Best Buy that's in like a strip mall and it's really tiny and we don't get movies, very many movies in there. One of the things I was excited about was people were saying that Maximum Overdrive was coming for like $24, $25, and I really wanted that movie. Like it's this incredible, like cheesy bad movie, but it's got this amazing AC/DC soundtrack, the Who Made Who soundtrack, really. Like CD is for that, the best of AC/DC, but we didn't get it here, and we definitely wouldn't get it for like $24. We don't get any like all that stuff. We're lucky when we get like a Shout Factory release here in the wallet. I got to buy most of my stuff like online. I did pre-order another one today. Yeah, you did. He was on. Is it really? In Canada? Is that the Best Buy Canada or BestBuy.com? Because it will make a difference for me, but I will check it out. Especially when I almost picked up what's it called? Night Gallery, the complete series, back when Black Friday happened last year. So maybe will this year, or Boxing Day actually. It depends. If I want Arrow Video to have a sale on Boxing Day, so I can get some of their stuff. Oh, I pre-ordered one other thing today, guys. I was asked about it before if I was going to pre-order it, if it was going to be on part of my Christmas wish list, and it is. So the Critters collection box set, I did pre-order that. I'm actually kind of excited about getting that getting that coming. Metal Hurling, I gotta find that now, because that was short-lived. So that's the one with the comment. It'll be interesting to see because I really like the heavy metal comics. Oh, I did get a note from a viewer, and if it's one of you guys, please let me know. Basically, letting me know that they got an extra copy of Indicators and the Demon, which they are sending my way. And if it's somebody on here right now, because names on here and names in here often tend to be different, I want to say thank you very much. I'm actually extremely excited about that. That's one of my favorite films. So, wow, and thank you. And if you're not on here now and you see it, feel free to comment down below, and I will definitely comment back. That's obviously a huge deal. You hate the church? Come on, man. It's a fun film. It's not perfect, but it's fun. Many people consider that Demons 3. Now, other people consider Demons 3 to be the comic book that came with Demons and Demons 2 that Arrow put out. But there's been so many like supposed Demons 3s around that have come out. Now, I think a lot of people say that because it's Michael Sauvé. So I never get his name right. If you guys know how to pronounce it, it is supposed to be crazy and ridiculous. It's Italian, and it is insane. It's kind of what you expect when you go in to watch a movie like that. You can't expect normality or straightness. Oh yeah, plenty of moves and chairs. A good friend of mine, James, actually got me The Sect, which I actually have to sit down and like really kind of dive into. That's one that I used to like back in the night. Actually, Jamie Lee Curtis's sister, and that one I can't remember. All right, so I got a couple other shows to show you. One here, out topic, but anyone ever see anime series High School of the Dead? Sounds familiar. Yeah, that's the thing. Demons is hilarious, but it's awesome. And what Demons has over it, though, for me, is Demons has a kicking soundtrack. So this isn't horror per se. Now, the company that put this out, VI, actually put out their own Amazon store. So nowadays you can get this complete series for extremely cheap, for like $39. So I do have to get down the road. I only have the first season. I got this at HMV like for $1 during the last day of the HMV sale, and before they closed down. And that is a series that I really used to dig back in the day. Obviously, a lot of the theories and have been, hey, how's it going? Have been debunked, but In Search of, with hosted by Leonard Nimoy. Now there was like a newer series, I think, that was hosted by Mitch Pileggi from the X-Files fame, Skinner. But this was like one of those shows, much like the Unsolved Mysteries and stuff like that, came on back then. Now, this was really cool because it dealt with like a lot of different things. So like on here, for instance, we got like the Bermuda Triangle, Bigfoot, killer bees, the Mummy's Curse, Martians, Atlantis, psychic detectives, Easter Island Massacre, ghosts, life after death, near-death experiences, voodoo, UFOs, the Loch Ness Monster, the magic of Stonehenge, which is awesome for like if you're watching like the third Halloween film. You used to watch Unsolved. The cool thing about Unsolved Mysteries, Robert Stack has a creepy voice that really suits it. So Unsolved Mysteries is almost a horror show in its own way. But In Search of for me, was like the original over there. I love the show. So if you've never seen it, definitely check it out. The sets aren't that expensive, $39 for the complete series, including if I'm correct, they also included the original pilot, which was narrated not by Leonard Nimoy, but actually by Rod Serling. And and includes the newer series, which was, of course, done by exactly. I concur. And ready. Eric Von Däniken, Ancient Mysteries. Oh, okay. That's something my better half, I think, watches. Now we're getting into some more regular shows, but first there was one that's only a TV special, but I think it should be talked about and it should be watched every Halloween. So if you haven't seen this one, I do recommend it. It's really cool. Rankin Bass is a company that used to be out, and they put out a lot of stuff, especially stuff that was great they put out a lot of really good like Christmas specials. A lot of the like Frosty Snowman stuff were made by Rankin Bass, but they also put out a really awesome Halloween special as well. And it's a favorite of mine, and that is Mad Monster Party. So if you've ever seen this one, definitely this is a must for Halloween time. I do recommend checking it out. Ancient Aliens. So yeah, that's the one that my better half watches. She's addicted to that show, man. Like there's like so many seasons of it. I think I've seen an episode or two, but she's like really into it. She just finds it hilariously fun. So Mad Monster Party, guys, if you've never seen this, and Boris Karloff does the voice. Yeah, Baron von Frankenstein is Boris Karloff in this here. So we got like the the werewolf, Dracula, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the Mummy, the Invisible Man. It's got to be, maybe it's, I can't say it's a girl thing, but for Ken, it's like it's our wife's thing, the Ancient Aliens. I never really got into it. Now my oldest here just got a subscription to Shudder. No, it's okay. That's why I said, it's I actually probably would like it if I watched it, but I actually never seen it. Anything like Groovy Ghoulies. Well, Groovy Ghoulies is more of like an animated series, but there's my. It's having problems with her Shudder account. So I'm just giving a quick heads up here. Don't you hate whenever you want to put something on, like it'll like do an autocorrect like crazy, and whenever you do a word wrong that makes no sense at all, it'll keep it there. But yes, it's just like Rankin Bass. So think of like kind of like Frosty the Snowman, that type of thing, or like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. They did those. So you got it's not animated. It's more like this kind of like this stop motion type of thing going on. I like the original Simpsons Halloween episodes, but I think that they actually haven't been very good in a long time. And it's a shame because The Simpsons at one point was a show that you could be, was considered fairly quality, but yeah. So I've got a couple more here, and these are more newer shows. But definitely, if you haven't seen the Rankin Bass Mad Monster Party, you owe it to yourself to check it out. But first, there's this show, and I think I'm very excited to have this show because, to be completely honest with you, it's really hard to get. Yeah, after the original like writers from The Simpsons left, the show changed its format and its style. It still seemed to be going through the motions of what the original Simpsons was, but it didn't know how it got to those spots. If the easiest way to put it is, in the early Simpsons episodes, like Homer would end up doing something stupid, and there'd be like a journey along the way where you'd learn more about him and his character, and etc. But now it's Homer does something silly and stupid just to be silly and stupid. There's really no more depth behind they just kind of got it's like the writers that took over got the surface aspect of The Simpsons, but never actually got the heart of the show. And for me, that's what changed. But a show with heart. Anybody remember this? Dracula series. So this is a complete series. And this is Dracula right there. So this was a Canadian show, and it lasted for 21 episodes. So this Dracula is kind of like, he's different. He's a billionaire, and he's like debonair and charming, and he does have the fangs. So basically, two kids, they figure out his secret, and that's kind of the series. Basically, they figure out he's Dracula, and there's a lot of series behind it. But it's a fun little show. It's extremely hard to get right now. This is actually an Echo Bridge release, by the way, guys. For some reason, I don't know if they lost like the rights to it or what happened, but if you can pick it up, definitely pick it up. It's not an easy find nowadays. I've actually got the second disc set here, just still sealed. I've already seen all the shows. Used to watch the show. Remember, I think and Ready, we would have watched it on the same channel. I think it probably came on, maybe on YTV. Maybe it came on YTV. It seems like it would be a YTV or Showcase type of thing. Probably YTV. Because then Ready, like me, is Canadian, so we both probably watched a lot of these shows on the same networks. So I only had the first season of this one here, but again, VI, I think, put this one out as well. And I knew it. And it's, I think, put out the complete series of it. So it's kind of inexpensive to get now. So I do have to get down the road. Oh, I love Fright Night. Fright Night. Welcome to Fright Night. For real. One of my favorite movies of all time, actually. Definitely my top 10 list. One of the best like vampire movies ever made. That Fright Night and Near Dark, just two incredible vampire movies in like modern day. Poltergeist, The Legacy. Cool show, actually. I like this show a lot more than I originally thought I was going to. And the pilot episode actually was different. Was dark. There was like some violence. There was some nudity in the pilot of Poltergeist, The Legacy. I can't remember if there was in the rest of this show, but I know in the first one it was kind of like just different. It's by the guys that put out like The Outer Limits, and you can tell. If you're like a wrestling fan, for instance, there's actually one of the seasons, and I don't think it's in the first season though, has The Undertaker play a character, kind of like in a gimmicky type of thing, and The Undertaker plays a character that the Legacy group has to fight. Now, Poltergeist, The Legacy really has nothing to do with the movies Poltergeist, but there's this group kind of called it's the Legacy group, and it's ran by Derek Rand, and they fight different supernatural entities in every episode. And if you've never seen this, it really is worth checking out. Sanctuary with Amanda Tapping. Yeah, I like Sanctuary. I don't have it. I actually wish I did. I was at a bookstore, and they had like Sanctuary there for the complete. They had the complete series too, and it's the original ones. They had Orphan Black as well, which is another show that I really like. Now there's a cast of. I love this. They got this the way it's done. So Dr. Derek Rand, Nick Boyle, Alex Moreau, Father Philip Callaghan, and Dr. Rachel Corrigan. Dr. Rachel and Kat Corrigan. So Dr. Rachel Corrigan is played by Helen Shaver, right? Yeah. Helen Shaver, Derek DeLint. Incredible show. Really fun. And of course, she's having a real problem with her shutter tonight. It's just not working. And she's watching like a bunch of like Channel Zero, which is like been a big deal for Shudder right now. Oh, there's Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead, Dire of the Dead. Oh, it's the Grudge, Zombieland, Captivity. Oh, I kind of remember Captivity. I don't think I liked Captivity when I saw it. And here are some like newer shows. Both of these have just ended, but not too long ago. But I did think they were fun. They're fun, easy watches. Okay, let me just check something. Here, Tim Wizard. So, Grimm, which is one that my better half was really into. I think we got like a few seasons of this one actually, and I can both text and type fast. I'm an ex-journalist, so this guy here, the werewolf character on this, is actually the best part of this show. Actually, the lead character is kind of like I do have a good sound system, so maybe I should watch Grave Encounters. And this one here is one that my better half watched that I haven't seen a lot of, which is Sleepy Hollow. Was a fun show. I did hear that the got rid. Not yet entertainment was. Was going to see it tonight, but it's playing at my drive-in on Saturday. So needless to say, the chance to see Halloween either in a regular theater or see Halloween 2018 at a drive-in, I got to go for a drive-in viewing of that. That's going to be paramount. And they got like great concession stand there as well. Great food. Undead. Are we talking like Undead, like the Butcher Brothers film, or is like Undead and Alive? Something like that's the title of the film. But yeah, Sleepy Hollow is actually a really good series. I really enjoyed that. It's a fun series, kind of light. Though apparently in the last season, which I haven't seen, they changed the lead, the female lead. I'm not quite sure. Is that a spoiler? Does she get died? Has anybody seen the show? Does she die in the show, or does she get taken off or something like that? I'm not sure. But they had kind of like a chemistry, so it seems kind of weird to change the female lead in the 4th season of a show. Oh, you got vinyls of the originals? Because I'm guessing it's not the Rob Zombie editions. Oh, okay. I was actually kind of curious, actually, on Dead and Alive. I haven't seen that. But it's one that I do have seen. Now, I did check to see what was out today, because today is like Chris Gore from back in the Attack the Show days would call it DVD Day. Was the day that like movies came out. So I went to check to see what came out, see if anything interesting had come out. Now the Halloween bin has been replaced by a Christmas bin at our local Walmart. And there was a few like different things. There's like the Slender Man movie. Haven't seen that. Don't know if that's any good or not. I love Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow. It's a great throwback to oh nice, use original sound masters. It's a great throwback to the Hammer horror and the Amicus horror. If you've never seen Sleepy Hollow, I do recommend it. One of my biggest like slap myself like face palming moments is when I watched this guy still around, Nostalgia Critic, right? Don't watch stuff anymore. The change the channel thing really bothered me. But I do like Brad, Cinema Snob. But I think the thing that got me like to not like Nostalgia Critic was his review of Sleepy Hollow. So Sleepy Hollow being a favorite of mine, I went in to watch Nostalgia Critic reviewing Sleepy Hollow, and he got on there and he said, you know, Sleepy Hollow is not as bad as people say. And I was thinking, I've never heard anybody really say Sleepy Hollow is bad in the first place. He said, if you understand that there's this thing called Hammer horror, which I recently found out about, and I'm like, no, I'm done with you, man. You recently found out about Hammer horror, and you're a Nostalgia Critic. Done. Like, the angry video game nerd, James Rolfe, he would be the person that would have introduced Hammer horror to to the guy that plays Nostalgia Critic, Doug, I think, Doug Walker. But James Rolfe really knows his stuff. Danny Elfman has just that quirkiness that works with with his films, though. It's his, it's his go-to composer, and I can see why, because there's just a uniqueness to. I like Tim Burton stuff, I really do. Not everything, of course. I hated his version of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It had to be one of the worst things that I'd ever seen. It just didn't work for me. It didn't work for me on any level, and I do not care what Johnny Depp says. He was definitely 110% playing the character of he was playing like a Michael Jackson character for Willy Wonka, and it didn't really work. I don't want to see it made. I really don't want to see Beetlejuice 2 come about. Beetlejuice is a fantastic movie. For years, studios have been trying to get Tim Burton to do Beetlejuice. And as a joke back in the day, he thought up the worst possible idea for Beetlejuice. He said, Beetlejuice goes to Y, as a lark, thinking, okay, now they'll shut up. I know Keaton's in it, and I love Keaton, that's the thing. I don't know. It's gonna have to do a lot to make this work. But magazines at the time and everything, they printed Beetlejuice Goes to Y coming out. I remember it in the comic book magazines and all the kind of probably in the. But people actually thought that was going to be a thing. But now there is a Beetlejuice 2 coming out. How is it going to be? I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping it'll be good, but I'm not expecting too much out of this series. So apparently Shudder is showing season 3 of Channel Zero, but it's not yet available in Canada. If you go to watch it in Canada, you get a region error. So for and Reddit, do you have Shudder? Because if you have Shudder, definitely check it out. Because that's actually disappointing for me, because I do want to see the 3rd season of Channel Zero, and I haven't yet bought it. I do usually buy that around Black Friday. But unfortunately, when you press on the, because it is the cheapest one to buy, right? You have to watch Channel Zero. Oh man, the 1st season of Channel Zero. It's strange, but it's really good. I didn't expect much out of Channel Zero when I heard about it. My kids used to read these things online called creepypastas, and I'll be honest with you, maybe I'm a little too old, but I just didn't kind of get into that. Butcher's Block, that's the one, everybody. Butcher's Block is season 3. But season 4 is going on right now, actually. Coming out nightly, it's coming out on AMC. I haven't seen it yet. I still have to watch the 3rd episode of Eli Roth's History of Horror as well. Something that I'm enjoying, but it's a little bit safe for Eli Roth. But I think there's some reins put on him. I'm waiting to get the DVD out, and I'm ready for on either Black Friday or Boxing Day. I'm hoping that, like, because I usually get the seasons, the season sets around that time. They usually come out like for $10 or $8 type of thing. That's why I'm up to like 7 seasons of American Horror Story, but I don't have Cult yet. Cult just recently came out here in Canada, and it's at full price, and I do want to watch it. And AMC did like a whole viewing of the whole series, actually on Sunday. So I PVR'd it until I can get it. It actually really doesn't matter that Rob Zombie's in it because he doesn't say anything. Um, you know, I don't have any like hatred against Rob Zombie when it comes to, like, I didn't like his Halloween films. I just didn't think he did a good job of them. But I do think that as a horror fan, he probably has a lot to say. He has a huge collection of horror, and I gotta respect Zombie for that. He actually really, he's not a guy that, he really does like horror. He loves horror films. And it's just that he needs a second person to rein him in there. Hey Ken, I know you liked, I actually told people on here that you really liked the movie, by the way. So I gave it like a shout out to that film for you. I like Lords of Salem. Lords of Salem is different. It's not like any other Rob Zombie film. It's very, very different. And for that reason, he got a lot of hatred and a lot of flack from his longtime watchers. Like, people that watched a lot of Rob Zombie films said, this is a Rob Zombie. It's weird, it's different. And it is. It's more along the lines of like 70s, those ghost satanic exploitation films that came out back then. It plays more like that. And it's definitely weird, and it's not completely normal. But Lords of Salem, yeah, thank you, Ann, is by far, it's his best and his most accomplished work to date. 31 was actually a major step back after seeing Lords of Salem. You only seen one? Devil's Reach isn't bad. It's definitely more accomplished than House of a Thousand Corpses. House of a Thousand Corpses comes across like, and this has been said before, so I'm not the first person going to say it in these terms, like a student film with a budget. But it was his first film, and so I kind of expected that. There were some glimmers in that. Ghost of Sierra de Cobre. I think the problem with Rob Zombie is he plays in too much into a base, and he's got an ego. That's what I think happened with the Halloween films. I think that he went in with the best of intentions, wanting to make. I got Feast. I don't have all three of them. I think I got the first one. It was different. It was frantic and fun, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But it was an interesting film to watch. But I think Rob Zombie went in with the best of intentions to try to make Halloween, and to try to make a good Halloween, to try to do something with it, and it didn't work, and it's a shame, because I do think to this day, like not now anymore, but I think that Rob Zombie was probably a huge fan of the Halloween franchise and of John Carpenter. It was a big deal for him to do something like that, and I think he got overwhelmed, and I think it just didn't go the way that he wanted to, or the way that he expected it. It wasn't a good experience, and he went to do a second one, and I think just to really do his own thing, and that didn't work out. Now, some people this being said, just because I don't like Rob Zombie's Halloween films, that takes nothing away from from people that do like them, or their thoughts on those films. This is just one guy's opinion. That's just my thoughts on them. They don't work for me, but there is an audience that Rob Zombie's Halloween films are their definitive Halloween films for them, and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 usually goes like high on some people's list, not on mine. I do think that the best thing Rob Zombie ever made is Lords of Salem. He went strongly outside of his comfort zone when he did so, and that is the one thing that lets me know that he can make a really good film. He can make a quality film. The first, I didn't really, I enjoyed portions of it, the second part of the film, but I really didn't like that itself. I think that people like to say that if Rob Zombie If this wasn't called Halloween, a lot of people wouldn't have any problem with the movie. Would like it. But it is called Halloween. It's not called anything else. And they'll say that, you know, if he stayed really close to it, then it'd be like Gus Van Sant doing, you know, doing Psycho. He'd just be reiterating the same thing over and over again. And that really doesn't work either, because there are ways to do, you know, to pay homage to what you did before and still do your own thing and have it work. Obviously, he has a fan base that's built in that is going to like his stuff regardless. And that's not me. But that being said, his movies normally work for like a lot of people. And Lords of Salem is the one Rob Zombie movie that completely worked for me. I bought into it. It was his homage. It was his like throwing the hat to that genre, to the Suspiria, to the Inferno genre. Now, I don't think it was of that level, but I do think it was definitely the highest level that Rob Zombie's ever gotten when it comes to filmmaking. Two of his films. Hey, welcome to 30 Wolfman. Lords of Salem, Devil's. Yeah, those are my two favorite. I think we got a lot of the same favorites when it comes to this type of stuff. Oh, that's a Walmart put out these Funko sets for The Shining, and it's the Annabelle right next to it, and of course it's a Superman Nintendo. But like here, I'll show you. I actually had them on my channel recently, so it's just a recent buy from Walmart. If you got a Walmart nearby, check it out. I'll be right back. I'm contemplating getting the Gremlins one as well. Well, it's still there. It's like $17. So, we actually bought some Atmosphere FX like things for our window tonight. You know, we got the digital downloads for those, and just so that we got a projector. So just a little hummingbird projector. So here's like the Annabelle one right here, and you can see there's like a little like kind of Funko keychain of Annabelle right there. And I didn't have the Annabelle films. Definitely didn't have them on Blu-ray. I think I had one of them like on DVD. So this is the 2-film set. And this is going to stay sealed because I've already got the copy of this on Blu-ray and DVD, by the way. One, The Shining right here. So, and this of course is good old Jack. But being a huge fan of The Shining, I do have to say, this is a movie that I watched a lot. So, look at this 13th Wolfman. Just look at that, man. Wendy, darling, light of my life. And it's cool because the packaging is like the big boxes kind of give a feel of a VHS aesthetic to them. Like, remember those old like big VHS boxes, like the Thriller videos and stuff like that. It's cool. That's the thing. It's like this is definitely a Kubrick lover. It's when you say collector's set, it's really collector's. Oh, you do? It's just the packaging altogether. I do have one of them, guys. I've got like one of my kids got me one year, and it was like actually Pennywise is what came out. No, I got two. That's a lie. I got Pennywise, and I'm just gonna bash you. I love that. Most beautiful horror film of all time for me. It is beautiful. It is a gorgeous film. But I think Argento makes the most beautiful horror films of all time. And Bava. Bava's really good too. But Argento's Suspiria is beautiful. Beautiful film that I really have to have on Blu-ray. It is gorgeous. I don't think there's anybody out there, and I do include Bava and everyone in there, and Kubrick, that can make murder as, and this is going to sound weird, as utterly breathtakingly beautiful as Argento can. And he does. He makes murder gorgeous. Jaws, Jason, both Virgin Predator. Oh yeah, I got do I have it here? I did have it here. I got like Chucky too. I've got Chucky, and I've got like and I've got the one from Pennywise from Original It. We have seen me come from like utterly hating and despising this stuff to not being able to live without it. Hey, Stephanie, welcome. We talked about TV horror tonight, TV shows. And somebody asked about my Walmart Funko sets because I got to have those. So, Steph, did you get your Vinegar Syndrome package? Did you order the Vinegar Syndrome package? That's it. I am now a bubbly fan, guys. I am a bubbly fan. Because I think Brian got his. Got the Gremlins one. See, I need to get the Gremlins one. That's the other one I need to get because it's Christmas horror, and Christmas horror is coming up, and I don't have Gremlins 2. So I legit have a reason to go and get that one. Because I've got Gremlins 1. No, did Gremlins 1 and 2 come on their own discs? Because I know it was the Annabelle one, they each got their own disc. So, and I think it's Stripe is the Gremlins on the Funko, right? If I remember correct. So I got to convince my better half that I need that one for my stocking. So yeah. But yeah, I think Brian, I saw on Twitter. I was going to say Tinder. I saw on Tinder. No, I didn't say anything on Tinder. But I saw on Twitter that Brian got finally got his Vinegar Syndrome package. Is it Gizmo? Maybe it is. Maybe it is Gizmo. It's probably Gizmo. I probably have that totally wrong. But so if it's Gizmo, then it's Gizmo. Oh, they're in separate discs. Awesomeness. It's only $17 too, so I definitely want to pick it up. So if my better half doesn't pick it up for me, then I'm going to tell. There, see? You guys know. Stephanie has it, and apparently 13th Wolfman, way more observant than I am. Though Stripe would be good. Wouldn't it be good to have Stripe? Because, you know, my cat's going nuts over there. I'm actually getting ready. As we get closer to Halloween, it is like, happy Halloween, guys. It's officially Halloween. But as we get closer to Halloween being over, I'm already getting into the holiday horror mode. Terrorize Gizmo. I could see you doing that. You have one of the best Twitters. I suck at Twitter. I follow a lot of people on Twitter, and I don't get a lot of stuff out there. I'm like, every once in a while, I'll tweet something. But some people, what's my number one favorite horror film? Black Christmas, 1974, Bob Clark. That's my favorite film. Like, not just my favorite horror film, that's my favorite film. And people will be tired about me talking about it because I've talked about it so much. But it is that film that just does it for me. But, you know, there's movies that like stand out to me. The Shining's a great movie. I really enjoy that. But I can't watch it every day. It's a long film. No, it's okay. Well, I get asked the question a lot. I've got asked a lot of weird questions lately. I like Pieces. I really love the movie Pieces. I know it's a crazy film, but and it just goes to tell what kind of weird personality I got. But I've watched Pieces though so many times, and it is brilliant. Or the Omen, I'm guessing the original Omen, right? With like with Doctor Who himself, Patrick Troughton, and not the remake or like the Omen 4 with the little girl in it, which I think should have been in the set. See, how can they come up with a Blu-ray set of The Omen and not include the fourth film? I know it's a TV film, okay, in a way, it's kind of a showcase, whatever, type film, HBO, whatever it is. Pieces is fantastic because you don't to get a Chainsaw Massacre. And it's so fun, and it's got the guy that plays Bluto in the Robert Altman version of we picked some classics there, man. One of my favorites. People don't talk about this movie a lot, but there's a movie called Carnival of Souls, and thanks. And I really love Carnival of Souls. It really creeped me out when I was a kid. It's just, I don't think it could have ever been done at any other time than the time that was done. And I really, really enjoy Carnival of Souls. It's nightmarish. But yeah, so Bluto, and he's got this like, he's like the gardener, and he's just got this like, kind of, I can't do it, but my better half doesn't come on camera. I wish she did, because she does the squinty eye that he does from Pizzas. If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a suspicious look that he does throughout the film. When he does, it's always kind of surreal. Can you think of other Utah horror films? Came with all 5. Yes, I have that over there, and it's still, Carnival of Souls. I got to get the Criterion edition of Carnival of Souls. I really do enjoy that film. Anybody here that hasn't seen Carnival of Souls yet, like, please do. It's different, and the way it plays is it could almost play as a silent film. Like, no word of lie. Carnival of Souls almost plays like a good silent film. Very minimal with the dialogue aspects of it, and it's Carnival of Souls and Phantasm are 2 movies that get the nightmare aspect right. Return of the Living Dead, American Werewolf in London, The Night Stalker. The Night Stalker. Are we talking about the Kolchak one? Because, oh yeah. You saw Riff Tracks live? Damn, man. Where's it you live, Steph? I'm not asking for your house number. I'm asking for like the state or that you live in, because I'm guessing it's somewhere that has like way better stuff than I have here. I've seen the Phantom Carriage, but I don't own it. It took me a long time to get a copy of it, and one of my friends had it, but I've never gotten to. I love to see Riff Tracks live, by the way. House of the Damned. I don't remember it right now. Haunted Honeymoon with John Candy. You're in Las Vegas, man. Actually, me and my better half, that's one of the places like on our bucket list, the places that we want to check out is Vegas, actually. Vegas, Italy. She wants to go to like one of those tropical island places. Oh, Gene Wilder, Gilda Radner. I thought John Candy played like was like in drag or something in that movie. Am I thinking? It is Haunted Honeymoon, right? Hey, Colin Nicole, how's it going? Dom DeLuise, thank you. How did I get that mixed up? Because, honestly, earlier on, I was talking about SCTV. We talked about heavy metal, and I've had SCTV on the mind. I kind of want to watch the Zontar episode of SCTV, and if you're a fan of SCTV, you know what that is. Nothing But Trouble, which is actually 13 Wolf Man, one of my sisters, my younger sister. I got 2 sisters. My younger sister's favorite films of all time is Nothing But Trouble. And you're right, that is exactly the movie that I was thinking about. Because she always used to like watch it over and over again. She could never watch Demons 2. That was the thing. She was like scared to death of Demons 2. Nothing But Trouble seems like the type of Kino would put out. I'm actually surprised they didn't. Because it seems like something that's right up their alley. Like, I would love to see like a Scream Factory or a Shout Factory edition of it, or even an Arrow. But it screams Kino. It does. It screams Kino release. Music rights. It'll do it to you every time. Ever since the Chappelle Show, I can't hear Tupac's name without thinking of that like skit. You got the Dragnet. That was such good. I saw that in theater actually, Steph. I actually really like that movie. If you're going to double feature with anything though, I recommend the first Fletch film. The first Fletch double feature with Drag Night. That's money. I'm always actually tweeted like your friend of yours, Sean DeRegger, who does the Screamcasts with you, was upset about the pricing of like and Screamcast is amazing, by the way, guys. If you haven't listened to the podcast, listen to the podcast. Just to let you know. with the pricing of Creepshow. I'm like, no, but it's just, it's been cheaper. So it's just $40, a little bit expensive, but still definitely worth checking out. It's Creepshow. And hopefully he'll get it down the road. Tao Shan, he has to get Creepshow. Dragnet and Money Pit? No. I can see it. Same actors. But hear me out here. For thematic double feature, we got Fletch, and we got because you see it, right? Dragnet. It does look like an Arrow limited edition. That's the thing. And I think that's on purpose. Critters box. Actually, guys, I just pre-ordered the Critters box set today because of that price drop. Because it was like $57 and it went down to like $48. So I'm like locking it in. So excited to get that Critters box set for Christmas. Actually, I'm a huge fan of the Critters films. Money Pit is incredibly underrated Tom Hanks film. So I am all with you over that one. Yeah, see, look, Steph gives Money Pit some love. Money Pit is an amazing film. Did that one get the Shout Select really? Because if it didn't, it should. Yes, they did announce the features on Critters set. Let me just actually bring it up here because it's actually fairly impressive. So let me go to the Shout Factory website and I will actually list out the Critters features. Reported was at 50, now it's gone to 48, so right on. So now it's gone to 48 in Canadian. So you might want to pre-order it in the Amazon CA, or did you order it from like Shout Factory? So what we got here for the special features, and here we go. Are you ready, guys? Bonfire of the Vanities. I love the book. I really have to rewatch the movie. I wasn't a fan of it when I originally saw it. But that being said, there's a few movies that I find that I've grown to like over the years that I was too close to the book when I originally saw it. So features for Critters 1. New audio commentary. Well, 2 new audio commentaries. One of them has the Cheeto Brothers on it. Yikes. New The Bite, The Making of Critters with pretty much everybody. Fort Bryan, a tribute to the screenwriter. And then there's some other stuff. Yeah, with William Castle, the features look to be decent. I'm not a fan of what they did with the 13 Ghosts, and I've heard one review at least said that the 13 Ghosts, like you can make your own like viewer, which I shouldn't have to do for the 13 Ghosts, but they didn't do the best job when it came to the for people that actually did make their own viewer. The second one again has main course Making of Critters 2. Again, 2 audio commentaries, new 2K scan. There's making up for every one of the Critters films. I'm a big Chevy Chase fan, so definitely check out the Critters films. They're really fun, and the box set is $48 Canadian. So if you don't have it like ordered from Shout Factory and you just got it ordered from Amazon or something like that, Funny Farm, that's the one. Do you know a movie that I would love to see get a good release? Maybe it has and I don't know about it. But there's like a John Ritter film that I watched when I was younger. And he gets superpowers and it's called Hero at Large. And it may seem like really cheesy and stuff now, but it's a movie that I really dug back in the day. There wasn't a lot of superhero movies. This wasn't like a superhero movie in this day. But I just really... Oh, Stay Tuned. I like Stay Tuned. But no, there's one called Hero Large. And if you've never seen it, it's an older one, one of his first things that he did. There's also one he did that I have to say has like the glowing condom scene, which I don't remember the name of the film right now. But that was like an infamous scene where the John Ritter and the other guy have like this condom duel. Actually, yes, I do remember Meteor Man. I got it. All the films put that out, actually. They actually did a comic of that, too. But I do have the All in Films, like, Blu-ray release that came out. Another HMV dollar buy when HMV was closing out. I actually haven't got around to watching that one yet. Like I've seen it before, but I haven't seen the Blu-ray to check out, see what the quality is. Olive normally does like decent quality. I do find that Olive tends to be a bit on the pricey side, and only recently have they started to like put like really good features on like some of the releases, and they've gone like an Olive kind of signature collector series that they do. But I do find that a lot of the Olive stuff is pretty bare bones, and they've taken movies that were previously in like a dollar bin and updated them. Yes, I am talking about Skin Deep. Thank you, 13th Wolf. Man, you're killing it tonight. What is Robert Townsend doing now, anyway? But yeah, Skin Deep. Has Skin Deep gotten a good release yet? So Skin Deep is another one that I think definitely deserves a decent release. It's mostly infamous for the glowing condom scene, but you know, the Star Wars condom basically thing. But it's like it's a fun film, and I would like to revisit it. I haven't seen it since I saw it back in the theater, so it's been a long time. It's like Stay Tuned. Last time I saw Stay Tuned was on VHS. I've never actually seen like a DVD copy of Stay Tuned, or and it's a shame. John Ritter unfortunately went way too young from us, and I would love to see what would have happened. Blake Edwards. Is there a Blake Edwards box set? I'm really surprised there's not, if there isn't. Because there's so, you know, that runs the gamut. Like, you could do an amazing box set with Blake Edwards stuff. Has there ever been a Blake Edwards box set? Like, even on DVD? Anything that's like, you know, I know there's a Mel Brooks one. Like, there's been a couple Mel Brooks box sets that came out. But I've never seen like and it seems like a given. It seems like a natural. The only thing I could think could stop something like that is if like there was different like companies that are doing it. Brian James from Blade Runner. Yeah, I think that's who he's talking about. Yeah, Brian James, Blade Runner, of course, and House 3, or otherwise known as, what's it called here? It had another name here in North America. House 3 is called something else. I'm really like drawing blanks tonight, guys. It's one of those nights I've had a really long day, and I expect to do an hour-long video and didn't expect anybody to show up because I started early. But Max Jenke, yes! It's a freaking weird movie. So it's I love it. It's fantastic. He totally embodies that character. The Horror Show. Thank you, guys. But did you really? I didn't know that actually. Probably because I didn't go behind the counter. And I saw it in theater. But it has such a weird, like, kind of almost like a, whoa. That's actually, the birthday thing hits way too close to home, because there's somebody in my family where that, unfortunately, that was died and was buried on, like, the birthday of one of their kids. So, yeah. Yeah, for something really close to me. But yeah, going forward, Max Jenke is like it's such a weird movie because it's so like Nightmare on Elm Street-ish, and yeah, unfortunately, we tried to get it changed and they couldn't do it. It was like the only day that they could do it, and that was horrible. Horror Show and Shocker is yeah, those two work together really well. That is actually a good double feature. But the Horror Show is so weird. No, it's like, it's okay. I mean, like it's someone that left a really good place in my in my heart, and I have nothing but good memories. So positivity. But thank you. But yeah, the weird thing about the Horror Show is this really brutal, like, kind of weird out there horror movie, and just at the end of it, it becomes almost Wizard of Oz like. It's like everything's fine, the animal is fine. We're all okay, and it's a really sunny day outside. I kind of expected Jenky to come up like in the Nightmare on Elm Street. At the end, he was going to come up and do one last big jump scare, like pull somebody in through a door, or like see a Jenky covered like station wagon or something like that go on. But it actually says, it's like Doctor Who. Everybody lives today. It's kind of like that. The turkey's fine, yes. Everything works out okay. But he did a great job, and I really expected to see more of that. Much like, I guess there's not a lot of people that like this. Oh, anything De Palma I've seen. I'm one of his biggest fans, actually. So yeah, I love Sisters. I'm also a big fan of Margot Kidder. Fortunately, she's passed away on now. That's one that I wanted to meet. I really wanted to meet Margot Kidder. I was completely in love with her. There's one for your Google Doc list. Oh, you like sure? Yeah, it's the. There's like I found this one at the at Giant Tiger. There's actually they had a few like these horror shirts, so I grabbed like this one. I grabbed one from like a Friday the 13th one, a couple others as well, and one from a movie that I really hate actually called Hellraiser Bloodlines. Well, I don't hate it. It's just not a very good movie. Because Joe Chappelle, and Ken, if he's still here, knows exactly how I feel about Joe Chappelle. So do most of you guys. I don't swear a lot on my channel, but I swear if I do ever did T-shirts or anything like that, if I went along that line, one of my shirts would have to be based on like what I do here, would just be fuck Joe Chappelle. Not sure about the legalities of that, but. That's my opinion on the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. I love the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. It revitalized like the slasher genre when it was like kind of dwindling out and dying. I don't like all of them. Well, I do like them, but they have a different level of like tolerability. The worst one out of the whole series is Freddy's Dead. Now, that being said, it's still an entertaining watch. Vampire Lovers is fantastic. I love Ingrid Pitt. Google Doc list. But Ingrid Pitt was amazing, and. Of course, there's also Twins of Evil, and there was the Lust for a Vampire. I think that's the three, like for the trilogy, that the Karnstein trilogy. And of course, if you want to include as well, in a way, because the Karnstein's in it, you can include the Vampire Circus, which I think is highly underrated when you're looking at the films. Vampire Hookers. I love Vampire Hookers. Did you get the Vinegar Syndrome like double feature? Because the other movie that's awesome as well. Like New Nightmare's really good. I actually do like. I do like the films. I'm a really big fan of. There's a what's it called? Of Dream Warriors. I love Dream Warriors. I like Freddy's Revenge actually. A lot of people don't like Freddy's Revenge because they say that it really doesn't follow like the rules of like what would become Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's the second film. At this point, the rules haven't been established for the character of Freddy Krueger. So to go back on it like now and say, oh well, Freddy Krueger's comes in reality and he possesses somebody's body and he doesn't do that. That's looking at it like in hindsight. And hindsight's 2020. But when you go out and you watch Freddy's Revenge Part 2, and you get past the amazing amount of like just references in that film, I find Freddy's Dead is the most dated, guys. Nicole and Carl, I find that with Freddy's Dead, what it is that it's like all the Nightmare on Elm Street films, one of the mistakes that I think that they did make is, there's definitely worse films out there. Worse films like in other franchises. But the mistake that Nightmare made is they really embraced what was going on in culture at the time. They really embraced like the whatever was going on, whatever the latest fad or craze was. But no one did that more than Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead, yeah, it didn't seem like as well put together. Everything was referenced. So when you go and watch it now, honestly, for a lot of people, Freddy's is not going to work based on the fact that they're not going to, that some of the references they may not, that they may actually not get. You will more so now because we have the internet. But even like just a few years after, when people were like, "What the hell is this? What does this mean?" Jason Goes to Hell is way worse. I am not a big fan of Jason Goes to Hell either. I think it's one of the worst. I think the New Line guys did a horrible job with the Friday the 13th franchise. They didn't get a good one, in my opinion. I can watch Jason Goes to Hell. It's a fun film, but I was making it look strong. That's why, Steph, I got to say that the makeup in Part 5 is really underrated. The kind of like the dirty old man Freddy that you get, twisted dirty old man Freddy that you get in Part 5. Yeah, the slimy Freddy face is definitely the best. And of course, same with like, the what's his name, Yeager, right? Chuck Yeager, who did Part 3, and also of course or just Jeff, did the what am I thinking? Chucky as well. So there's Oh, really? Jason takes man. Kevin Yeager, thank you. I got every name but that, right? I'm like, is it Chuck? No, it's Chucky's that. Is it Jeff? Jeff's his brother. Like Kevin Yeager was one of those guys that was big. Like if you read like Fangoria and Gorezone and all that, he was in all that stuff. Now his brother was an actor. He was in like V the series, and a bunch of other stuff as well. But I kind of remember him as like one of the kind of like the younger lead actor in V the series. He was like with the girl that was kind of the half alien. So yeah, totally lost what I was gonna say. Totally did. And with that, and this bubbly coming to a close, guys, that's the thing that they got right in the first one, and that's the thing that they got wrong in the. Oh really? Oh, yes, of course, the Crypt Keeper. Have I seen the Scary Movie franchise? Yep, I did. Yeah. I saw them. They were taken over later on by the Zucker brothers, who did amazing stuff earlier in their career. This isn't amazing. I'd steer clear. People like, I was on Facebook today, and basically someone was like, "Scary Movie is the greatest horror parody of all time," and I'm like, no, it's the greatest slasher horror parody of all time. Like, that's Student Bodies. If you haven't seen it, that's Student Bodies. That is legitimately done back in the day when horror and the slasher were still coming about. Student Bodies is, for me, it kills it. It is the greatest slasher parody of all time. I love the movie Student Bodies. The breather is hilarious, and it's so cool. It's like, if you've never seen Student Bodies, just see Student Bodies. It's super cool and a really fun. It's weird, and there's certain things that don't make sense, but horsehead bookends. And I think I mentioned on here once before, and somebody that had seen it had said that. Yeah, it is, but it's awesomely nuts. Repossessed. I do like Repossessed. It's a great film, but Student Bodies, it definitely tops the list for me. Laughing during horsehead bookends? If you've never seen it and you don't know what that line refers to, definitely see it. Student Bodies is a slasher film that literally has a body count, as in like the number of the victim comes up flashing on the screen during the film, to the point where there's Saturday the 14th and there's a Saturday the 14th Returns. There's actually two of those, where one person kills a fly, and the fly is numbered half on the body count. There's one like really cool scene at the beginning of Student Bodies. I love this movie. I gotta own this movie. I don't own it right now, and I remember it like word for word. It was definitely a good one. Where He's downstairs. It's the beginning kill, right? It's Friday the 13th, October the 31st, Jamie Lee Curtis's birthday. Just give you a feel of the film. And he opens up this this, oh God, what do you call this? Like a drawer of this type of thing, and it's got all these weapons. It's got like a gun and a knife and a machete, and it's got a noose, and it's got all these weapons in there anyway. And he goes along, and he's like, oh yeah, here, and he picks up this paper clip, and he like undoes the paper clip, like he straightens out the paper clip, and he's walking upstairs, and then he's like the breather, and he's going upstairs, and the stairs are taking forever, and it's like, it's hard to do without context, but as he's going up the stairs, there's gum on the stairs, and like he loses his shoe, and he loses one of his gloves, and he's pissed off, and he's like, I ought to kill the kid with the gum, and it's just a really cool movie. Out of context, doesn't make any sense, but in my mind it does. But definitely check out Student Bodies, and Repossessed as well. That's actually has Linda Blair and Leslie Nielsen, so if I remember that correctly. Very fun stuff. There you go, guys. Thank you for joining me tonight here in the Movie Library. I am your semi-humble host here, your movie keeper, Aaron. You guys are the movie club, and as always, you guys are fantastic. This could not happen without you, and I will see you next time. Have a good Halloween. Watch some creepy stuff. Nicole, Kyle, Kubrick Lover, Rich, Ken, Steph, you rock. Check out the check out the latest podcast with Steph in there. Check out the Screamcast. Check out the Digest of This stuff. Anytime you got stuff, Steph, that you want to mention, especially if it's something that I've missed, please mention it on here, because I do like to get as much content as possible. I'm always looking for new content to watch and to devour. Have a happy Halloween, guys, and I hope that as far as like a Halloween vlog, whatever broadcasts go, this one didn't disappoint too much. Have a great evening, and check out 13 Wolfman's 31 Days of Halloween. They've been fantastic. They're bite-sized. They're really cool. They're not like 2 hours long of me being like hot air and stuff like that. Definitely check them out. They're really, really good. He did a really great job with them, and I actually have to see the last 10 of those. So see you guys later, and I am off to look at Halloween candy that I can't touch until like all the kids come. Then afterwards, when whatever's left, dibs. Have a great evening, guys.